Everybody, my next guest was just nominated for his first Grammy Award for his latest album, License to Chill. He's also the author of this book, A Salty Piece of Land, which is a New York Times bestseller. Please welcome Jimmy Buffett. You know, I think about this from time to time. I think, who's got the coolest life of anybody I know?
Max Weinberg.
That's not true. I've seen his commute back and forth to New Jersey. It's not pretty. I really believe it would have to be you. I think you have the coolest life. You've got a music career, which I always think is an amazing thing to have. You've developed this whole persona, which is, I like cheeseburgers, I like, margaritas, the beach. You've got successful businesses all over the place. You have legions of fans wearing parrot heads wherever you go. That's sad. Now, and you have your own seaplane that you fly around like some kind of superhero. And wherever you want to go in the world, you jump on a seaplane and drive someplace, and you go and play golf or go snorkeling or do whatever you want. It's got to be the best.
That's not real.
It's not real.
It's real. It's real.
Yeah, it's real.
It worked out that way. You know? For a Jesuit-trained altar boy from the South, it worked out pretty good. But it started with music, and then everything else kind of evolved in there. But I always found, I was lucky enough to move to Florida and be in the tropics when everything else started happening, so I didn't have to go chase it.
Right. So
it kind of came to me.
Do you ever just look around and say, it could not get, this is insane that my life is this good?
I do run around the building occasionally and laugh and go, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
But it has worked out.
Do you point at other people and say, ha, I'm better than you? Because I've tried that. It never goes anywhere.
It's hard to keep a band employed if you do that.
Now, you also have fans now that are showing up at your shows that are nudists, who like to be nude.
We have a nudist contingency. It's weird, because they always wanted to dress up. Now this is taking it to another level. Do
they get nude before they come to the show and take a bus there, or do they become nude during the show?
I think that that's probably a multiple choice answer, and the answer is A and B there.
Right.
So people have been known to do. If anybody's been to the lawn at a show, there's fixed seats and then there's the lawn, and the lawn parties quite a bit more intensely than the fixed seats, though. So nudity on the lawn probably is allowed out there, but
Yeah, I worry about UV protection myself. I have no natural protection from the sun, so that's why I choose I choose to be clothed at all times.
It's a long day if you go to a show out there, so it might get hot. You might want to stretch. Yoga's in, nudity. I don't know, whatever.
Yoga nudity, not a good idea. No? It's too much. I've seen some horrible things.
I don't think I've seen that at the show. What do you think about it?
Now, you were a barker in New Orleans when you were starting
when I couldn't get jobs.
When you couldn't get jobs, you were a barker. What do you mean by a barker?
Well, the guys that stand out in front of the strip joints on Bourbon Street.
That was your job?
Yes.
And your job was to entice people to come into the strip show?
Yes. Because I couldn't get a job as a real musician, so I took anything I could possibly get.
No, I would think all you have to do is say, there's nude women in here. Isn't that pretty much all you need to say outside of a strip club?
Well, you got to be a little more shameless than that. It's like, come in, two drink minimum, stay as long as you like, swinging girls through the door, take one home to mom in Baton Rouge, 2 drinks, stay as long as you like.
Wait, that was your spiel. What do you mean swinging girls through the door? I don't even know what that is.
Well, they had women that worked in the bar, and in those days, they didn't have to worry about insurance policies and things, so they swung out through the door over Bourbon Street.
On a swing?
On a swing.
Where is this place? I want to go see this.
It's gone now, but,
How's the food? And who cares?
I never ate there, but I did date the girl on the swing.
You dated one of the girls on the swing?
Yeah, and when I introduced her to my parents, it was an interesting evening.
Yeah, I would think. When your mom said, and what do you do for a living?
So my son has made it in show business.
Yeah, I'm a stripper on a swing. Ah, very nice.
Well, it was a long time ago, and now they're all fake down there, but they had real girls.
What do you mean they're fake now?
Well, they have fake blow-up dolls that swing in the street. The last time I was on Bourbon Street, I
They have, robots on swings going by?
It's New Orleans. What can I say?
Yeah, it's all changed. It's like the Hall of the Presidents now in Disney World. That's not right. It should be the real thing. Now, this is bringing up something it's a bit sad, but a lot of people in the last week have been talking about their experiences on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And all the people talking, I think, for the most part, overwhelmingly have been comedians. Comedians talking about how they got their first break with The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson really helped you
He did.
get started as a musician, and I don't think I've heard from many musicians who had that experience.
Well, it was an interesting time because, you know, the musicians that started on Tonight Show were like old Vegas performers, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis, and then in the 70s, bands came along. And bands, rock and roll bands particularly, and there was a period where, you know, it's not like today where you got great sound and everything works. It was, you were put on that show, and then and a couple of bands kind of freaked out. They played too loud, or they, you know, as I went on, they said, Johnny really doesn't like it when you stop in the middle of performing. And
right.
so,
which is true to this day.
True.
I mean, these shows are taped. It's not really 12:30 at night. It's like 12:15. We like to go a little early, and play along. And but what's interesting is that when you want the performances to see, you want the whole thing to work as a live show, pretty much. So when a performer stops and says, let's try it again, it ruins the whole integrity of the show.
I told Maroon 5, if they stop, you will throw them off of this show.
I don't have that authority here at late. Yeah. Well, I have very little power at late night with Conan O'Brien.
Johnny could, and it was just like, I was scared to death my first time on the Tonight Show, and I just tried to be as professional as I could, do the thing, and of course when we started, we couldn't hear anything, and all that was going through my mind was, do not stop. And I looked over, and they said, we'll never get to the couch. They don't take musicians to the couch. And I looked over, and he went, come on over. And I went, yes. And from
that was a huge thing in show business when you were waved over to the couch.
It was absolutely huge, and as a musician, I think I might have broken some ground because we weren't treated in the way that it was more of a comedian kind of venue. Right. And so from that time, I did it I think 8 times and did the very last week of it. But you know, as a shameless performer, as you know about being a shameless performer,
I don't know what you're talking about. I have integrity. I have.
Well, I wore a sperm suit on stage one time, so that's how shameless I got. But I learned a lot about being shameless and funny from watching Johnny Carson.
Right, right. And you, later on, I think, eventually got to be the first guest, right?
I was. Well, the way on the Tonight Show, it was guest 3, 2, 1. It was a pecking order, and that was not coffee that was in those mugs on the Tonight Show. They got down, as they said, they teed it up early on the Tonight Show.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun. And
that was true of a lot of 60s and 70s television, especially in 60s television. They were smoking and they were drinking alcohol on the air.
Well, and then 60s and 70s bands were doing other things as well. So it was a great kind of combination. On some nights.
I mean, what are you talking about, other things?
Other things, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a great kind of tradition to go out, and I love doing the Tonight Show, and it taught me a lot about that. And, you know, you're going to be out there. Maybe I'll still be around, and we can do something
2044,
together.
I'll be there. I'll be a brain in a jar. And now you've got, and the other thing about you is that you've branched out. We have, you know, some performers on the show that come here with their book or some with their CD. You've got a book, a CD, a jetpack you're selling. You know, I mean, everything. Pretty much, you've got it all.
Well, I wanted to be a writer first before I tripped into the music business, and so once that all kind of worked out, I wanted to just see if I could actually do it, and it worked pretty well.
All right, well, I think so. Jimmy's A Salty Piece of Land tour begins February 17th at the Colonial Center in Columbia, South Carolina. And best of luck to you with the Grammys. That's exciting.
Well, thank you, Conan.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Good to have you on the show. Jimmy Buffett, everybody, we'll be right back. Maroon 5 is here. Stick around.